Acharya Abhinavagupta, who born around 950 CE and departing in 1016 of the Common Era, flourished during Kashmir's Golden Age under the Utpal dynasty, a period when the valley was a thriving hub of philosophy, art, and tantric spirituality. Kashmir was a melting pot of Shaivism, Buddhism, and Vedanta. Acharya Abhinavagupta, the great philosopher and mystic of Kashmir Shaivism, sat beneath a majestic Devdar tree, his posture still as the surrounding mountains. The quiet crackle of a sacred fire beside him mirrored the inner stillness he had cultivated over lifetimes. Above, the smoke spiraled upward, a silent symbol of unspoken prayers, like messages whispered to the heavens from grieving hearts. Approaching this stillness was Mandar, his young disciple. His footsteps were hesitant, his heart heavy. The recent death of his uncle had awakened within him not just grief, but a deep spiritual confusion. Despite having performed the Shraddh, the sacred post-death rites involving offerings of water, sesame seeds, fire, and mantras, his mind remained unsettled. The rites were complete, but his soul still carried a question. Mandar bowed deeply before his guru and spoke with trembling reverence. Acharya, I've followed every post-death ritual as tradition prescribes. But something within still asks, do the departed truly receive what we offer? Or are these rituals meant only to comfort the living? Acharya Abhinavagupta opened his eyes slowly, like the dawning of an inner sun. His gaze was not just one of wisdom, it was the gaze of someone who had seen beyond the veil of life and death. Acharya said gently, Dear Mandar, your question brushes against the very mystery of existence. But before we ask where the soul goes, we must first understand what the soul is. With a finger, he drew a circle in the dust. This, Acharya said, this is the Sthul Sharir, the gross physical body. It returns to the earth to be consumed by flame or time. Acharya Abhinavagupta then drew a second, smaller circle inside the first and said, this is the Suksham Sharir, the subtle body. It holds the senses, the mind, the breath, the impressions of karma. This body carries forward like a shadow clinging to light until the Shraddh rites or the soul's own wisdom dissolves it. That is why we chant Swadha, the mantra that means self-offering, to nourish the departing essence. Finally, Acharya Abhinavagupta pressed his finger to the center. And here lies the Karan Sharir, the causal body, the seed of the soul's journey. It holds the imprint of countless lifetimes. Mandar listened intently, his heart opening like a lotus to each word. Acharya Abhinavagupta continued, when you perform rituals with awareness, you speak not to the ashes, but to the subtle body that still carries echoes of memory and emotion. Your offerings, when infused with intention, can ease the soul's confusion, offer it direction, and invoke divine energies to guide it onward. Acharya looked toward the fire. Agni, the sacred flame, is not just physical fire. It is a transmitter, a bridge between worlds. You are not feeding a ghost or spirit when you offer the grains, sesame seeds or mantras. You are feeding the journey of consciousness. And if the soul has already taken another birth, then the energy of your love returns to you, multiplied. Nothing given from the heart is ever lost. Dear Mandar, the Shraddh rituals are like lamps lit in the corridors of time. The offerings of pind, rice balls, tea, sesame seeds, and tarpan, water libation to deceased, are not mere symbols. They are sacred contracts with the subtle laws of karma. Just as a river merges into the ocean, the soul's journey is shaped by the love and clarity we infuse into these rites. Acharya Abhinavagupta continued. The Garud Puran speaks of the Pret and Pitri states, the transitional phases where the soul, still attached to earthly bonds, wanders in the Sukshma Jagat or astral realms. Your offerings become their sustenance, not in physical form, but as vibrations of purity that dissolve their karmic depths. Mandar's brows furrowed. But Gurudev, what about moksha? What if the soul is already at peace or has moved on? Acharya Abhinavagupta replied, watching the flames. The fire consumes, but the essence remains. Just as the body turns to ash, the soul sheds layers, moving toward its ultimate truth, moksha. Then your action still has value, Acharya said with a smile. Sometimes souls linger in confusion, especially if death was sudden or karmic cycles incomplete. Your Shraddh, when offered with love, becomes like the sun, breaking through fog. But remember this, more than the ritual, it is the bhav, the inner feeling, that matters. A ritual done blindly is like an empty vessel. One done with love becomes a beacon. Acharya Abhinavagupta's eyes gleamed. Dear Mandar, moksha is not a place. It is the soul's awakening to its own divine nature, beyond birth, beyond death. The Shraddh rites, when performed with jnana, wisdom, can help sever the subtle threads of attachment that bind the soul to sansar. But remember, liberation is not granted by rituals alone. It is earned when the soul realizes it was never born to begin with. Acharya picked up a dry leaf and released it into the air. The wind carried it softly. Imagine the soul as a bird caught in mist. Your sincere prayers are like rays of light guiding it home. But let not the ritual become a mechanical act. In our Tantralok, I have written that without inner transformation, outer actions are mere shadows. It is not action alone that liberates. It is consciousness awakened through devotion. The body perishes, the rituals fade, but the essence, the Atman, remains untouched. That is moksha. The fire that consumes not the soul, but its illusions. Mandar sat in silence, absorbing each drop of wisdom, like parched earth receiving first rain. Mandar asked softly, so, should we still perform the rites, even when unsure of their outcome? Acharya Abhinavagupta placed a warm hand on Mandar's shoulder. Yes, my child. But do so with awareness, clarity, and compassion. Say their name with love. Feed the poor in their honor. Meditate and send them light. Every act of remembrance, when done with purity of heart, becomes an offering. Such rituals do not just uplift the departed, they refine the living. Mandar's eyes welled with tears, not of sorrow, but of understanding. I see now, Acharya ji, it's not about sending them away. It's about releasing them with love. Acharya Abhinavagupta closed his eyes once again, the breeze stirring the folds of his robe. The soul does not depart into distance. It departs into truth, just as the Upanishads say, from the unreal, lead me to the real. From darkness, lead me to light. From death, lead me to immortality. That is the ultimate goal of Shraddh, not just to honor the dead, but to awaken the living. Moral of the story: rituals for the departed are not mere traditions or empty customs. They are profound acts of spiritual connection, bridges of intention that transcend the boundary between life and death. When performed with love, awareness, and sincerity, they not only assist the soul's onward journey, but also create deep spiritual harmony for those left behind. Whether the soul is reborn, liberated, or lingering, the offering of love is never wasted. For in the universe of spirit, it is not the act, but the devotion behind the act that truly matters. Life whispers softly, "Let go, not in forgetfulness, but in fullness of love." For the departed do not vanish, they evolve. And so should we. You can watch our previous videos based on Shraddh and Moksha. Links are given in the description box. Do watch it. If this video inspired you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more motivation, and share it with someone who needs a boost today. Until next time, stay motivated, stay inspired, and keep shining. See you in the next video. Shubham Bhavtu.